welcome to Shadow Legends Assemble. We've got a special episode for this week and the next few weeks ahead. We've got Affinity Cup theme going on. Lots going on in the community at the moment, especially around this Affinity Cup. We're going to be talking everything about the Affinity Cup and who's taking part, all the strats, all the teams, all the pools, everything you can think of. And we've got some new guests as well. With us today, we were going to have Stu Gaming, but there is a 2 times void happening. He'll be with us shortly. Hell Hades, how you doing today, man?
Really good, really good.
I bet.
Back again.
Yeah, really good. There's good and there's really good, and you're definitely really good right now, huh?
Can I just give you some groundbreaking news, guys?
Mm-hmm.
I've just cleared 12-7. Brutal. 3-star.
Breaking news, Hell Hades isn't going to be on the podcast anymore. But yeah, 12-7, brutal. Congrats, man. That's really cool.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's great to have you on, man. And busy week ahead, I'm sure. Brew, man, how you been, buddy?
All good, man. Just been grinding away last night on the Affinity Cup.
Right.
And let's see what we do today. Maybe I can reach Brutal.
12-7 brutal? No?
Definitely not 12-7, but at least reach it. I'm still in hard.
Wow.
In the hard campaign, having trouble there.
Man. Awesome, man. Well, it's great to have you on, man. Thanks for being with us. And a newcomer for today, Jay Giggs. How you doing, man? Great. I hope you're here. Oh, hope you are. What? Words are hard. Great to have you here. There we go.
I appreciate you having me, man.
Jeez, yeah.
Easy for you to say.
Easy for me to say. So for those that don't know, Jay Giggs has literally been, he's on Magic Affinity like myself. We opened up our pools together. We're going to go through that as well. But I think there's a little bit of lurking on both sides. We've been trying to keep track of each other and see where we're going because we've got relatively the same things going on. I think we've got the same kind of tactics going on, so it'd be great to kind of get those thoughts on how things are going on Jay Gig's side there. But yeah, it's great to have you with us, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, man.
What we kind of asked newcomers before we get on going is basically their origin story within Raid. Now, I know we've got like the Affinity Cup going on at the moment, but I still would like to kind of understand how you got into the game and kind of how you started getting into it, and so how long have you been playing for, and what was like your first character out of the 4?
So I've been playing for, I guess, a little over a year. I think it launched officially in February, and I think I jumped in around April.
Right.
And I've been playing these types of games for a long time, and had taken a little bit of a break, and came across this in the App Store right before they really started advertising heavily for it. I think I started seeing ads about 3 days after I started playing it, and I just fell in love with it early. Things felt a little bit different back then than they do now.
Yep.
But I was really impressed with it in a lot of ways, and just happened to stick with it and start making content for it.
So when you really got that interest in the game, you thought, okay, I'll give it a go. So have you stuck with that same account all that time, or have you had multiple accounts, and who did you pick on your main account to start the game?
So my first account, I played for a pretty good while, and then I had a friend who also had an account who is notorious for having ridiculous RNG. He quit playing, so I took over his account. So that's been my account for the last probably 5 or 6 months, I guess,
right.
Maybe longer.
And so who did you pick out the first 4 when you started?
I chose Gallic on my original account.
Good
actually.
man. Hey. Yeah. I used Gallic for a long time. Unfortunately, we're having to use him again now. But yeah, Gallic was really cool, man. So was Gallic your first 60, or did you get lucky enough early on, or did you level someone up to 60?
I think... No, I don't think I ever did 60 him, actually.
You did 60? Well, you already one up on me, man. I unfortunately had to 60 mine. So who's your first 60?
I guess I don't remember. I know my first legendary was Fushan, but
okay.
I certainly would have 60'd someone before I pulled him. That's funny. I guess I don't remember who it was.
And so Fushan was your first Lego. How long did it take you to get that Lego?
Oh, a little over... about 3 months, I think.
3 months. So that's quite a wait. Some people get like uber lucky and get one on day one. I had to wait several months as well. But 3 months is quite a time to wait, especially back in the day, because there weren't really no packs or anything you could buy at the time, and grinds were quite hard. So yeah, 3 months is quite tough. So your first sort of biggest mistake in the game, man, like did you misfeed an apothecary, for example, early game, or did you like gear someone with like no speed or something? Like any big mistakes?
Nothing like that, but only just because of the experience. I played a lot of Summoners War, so by the time I got to raid, I knew better than to feed champs I didn't have, and I'd say if the biggest thing I probably did was underestimate how much value they were going to put in skill books.
Right.
So I used them a little bit too liberally early on.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, just a bit carefree. Oh, I've got books. He needs books. I'll put books on him. You didn't think, oh,
Right.
well, actually, I'm not going to use him in a month's time. You know.
Yeah, there was a time where I used a couple of legendary tomes on a couple of epics because I thought, it won't be a big deal, and then it turns out it's a big deal.
Yeah, it's strange. I'm saying, like, Hades, did you book anyone early on that you really shouldn't have? I mean, I think Juliana was helpful for a time, but after that, I haven't used her since. You know.
Yeah. I mean, I probably did. I spent way too much money on books in this game. I've got a lot of people say to me, "Yeah, why have you got?" I think probably one that stands out for me actually, because he's one of my first legendaries, and he was bad for a long time. Was Blood Gorged.
Right.
And I threw all of my legendary books at him, and I didn't throw them actually at my Kaimar, because Kaimar was the support champion and Blood Gorge was the offense champion. So I was like, get the damage out. Well, the damage didn't really come, and and it then sat in my vault for the next year. So that was probably quite a big mistake. So that's such an expensive mistake as well.
See, your expensive mistake, right, was my first legendary, and I felt like I had to do that to him, you know. So it's crazy. Cold Brew, did you book anyone that you probably shouldn't have?
I think I used only one epic book on Aethel because I thought I would get 2 skill ups instead of 1.
Okay.
And then it proved that it didn't work like that. So, but other than that, like my Lego books, I just used on my Ghost one once I got him, and I used them just to get his A3 to 100% chance, and that was it really.
Yeah, I think if I was to go through my vault and look at the characters that shouldn't have been booked, I think there'd be quite more than a few there, that's for sure. So finishing off with your origin story there, J Gigs, things that you could possibly still improve on: Fire Knight, Spider, Gearing Champs, Arena, like Faction Wars, and your favourite champion or champions and or team that you've had up to this point.
I guess for improvement, it probably Faction Wars. I spent a lot of time not even paying attention to it. I just would let whatever team it made for me auto as far as they could. And only recently have I started trying to put a little bit of effort into getting deeper into Faction Wars.
Yeah.
Other than that, I'm pretty content with all my teams across the game. And then favorite champ is Madame Ceres for sure.
God, I still need to get her. Yeah, she's so amazing. Did you get like early, or I suppose like mid game? I suppose you supposed to got her, right? Because she's been out a while. Did you recently get her?
I got her when they dropped her, like
right.
During that little Halloween event or whatever it was.
So you've had her a long time now, then.
Yeah, I'm a big fan.
Man, it's crazy. Cold Brew, Hades, you both got a Ceres, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
I know, I don't have one either. It's really annoying. Everyone's like loving her. I'm like, yep, well, maybe next Void event, you know.
Insane. She's beyond like crazy for an epic, and I'm really hopeful. So on my Affinity Cup account, today's the day. I'm gonna get one today. I can feel it. I can feel it in my bones. I'm gonna get one today.
How many shards do you have?
I can get behind that.
I think I got one.
Yeah, I think Chosen has got 3, and he's begging for a Skull Crown. Yeah.
A Skull Crown would be good too. But so I think because I've got my Bellower who's just kind of cruising. Yeah. I think Madame Cerise would be nice right now.
Nice, man. Right, we're going to get into the pools in a minute. I've just got a message from Kizzle. He said like 10 minutes or so. So we're going to sort of dig into the topics, and when Kizzle jumps on in, we're going to get him to go through his origin story as well, and then we'll continue with the topics. So the first topic of the day is basically the Affinity Cup, right? It's the reason why we're all here. Hades, do you just want to kind of break it down for everyone? Like, what is it? How did it come about? How long does it go on for? Like, and all that kind of stuff, and just let everyone know what it is. That'd be great.
I guess I had this dream. I had a dream. I had this idea that I wanted to do something similar to the Ryder Cup in golf, but in Raid Shadow Legends. So I was thinking, like, could we do 4 European content creators against 4 US?
Right.
So that's where it started, and then I thought maybe we can do like the captain has to pick somebody for the Dragon tournament and somebody for Ice Golem each week, and kind of, you know, pitch them up against someone from the other team. Yeah. That's kind of where I started with it, and then when I was looking at the content creators, I thought, well, there's way more from US or surrounding. So in the end, I thought, well, why not just pick 8, pitch them up against each other, and then everybody goes head to head in all of the different disciplines. So, but I still like the idea of having a team event. So we've ended up having 4v4. I then sort of twisted it and said, well, why doesn't everyone just have one affinity that they can play through the whole game, just to make it a bit more spicy, a bit more interesting when you do your pools and stuff.
Yeah.
So we've all done a shard pool. We've all been locked into one affinity we can use, and then each week we've got different disciplines that we're going against each other in. So this week, for example, it's Dragon and it's Campaign, but every single week you're also going to be tested on Clan Boss and Arena. Yeah. So the idea is, as your teams develop, we should see some growth in the Clan Boss teams, even yourself.
Thanks, mate.
And we should be able to start to sort of take on these different harder elements of the game. There's a points-based thing at the end of the competition. Best team wins, and that team will get additional sacred shards into their accounts. All of these accounts were kind of set up by Plarium for us, so it's kind of, I guess it's a sponsored event, if you want to call it that.
Shout out to the Diamond.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean they've put some resource behind it for us, and they've they've put a couple of posts out on their social media stuff, which is really cool. Actually, they didn't have to do that. Yep. And then we're able to give away our accounts at the end of the competition to viewers. So we should just see a ton of stuff on Twitch and YouTube, just kind of showing our progress and having some fun with it, really.
That's awesome, man. Well, thanks a lot for all the invites. We're all very grateful. Just for everyone in the chats, if you don't know, that Alka right there has posted up the links. We have 2 websites that you guys can keep track on absolutely everything throughout the next 3 weeks. www.raidfocus.com, all one word. So that is our main central hub, where you can keep track of, or you can go to all of our shard pools with links. You can see who's on which team, who's on which affinity. We've got points which are going to be added throughout the week, so you can keep track. You can see who is live at the same time. You can choose who you want to go and watch. Yes, there's just so much information on this website. So that's raidfocus.com. Go check that out. The links should be in your channels as well for those that know them. Pop them in the chat, that'd be great. We also have multi-Twitch TV, which that's too long of an address to kind of name out, but yeah, you go check it out. You can see all 8 screens at once, and you can really, it's like the Truman Show. Literally, it's just like watching the Truman Show with all those screens. It's great. So go check out those sites. Those sites have also been made by 2 brothers, Fixion and Never. They've literally gone from having some spare time in their hands to really putting in some effort over the last 7 days or so, and they're just really enjoying everything, and we've been very lucky to get some really good websites up and ready in such a short time. So thanks a lot to Fixion and Never for doing that as well. It's really great. So 2 websites, chat. Get on those. The Affinity Cup cold brew. When you got asked, what are your thoughts? I
thought it was a great. Yeah.
Sorry, carry on.
So what's up?
So sorry, carry on. My bad. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So the Affinity Cup, I thought it was a great, gathering of 8 content creators. Like the Gold Rush was, we only were 4. Was it 5? No, 5. But now it was 8. So 4 versus 4, and we each had to pick an affinity. I thought it was a great idea, and pulling the shards always makes a great gathering of the community, because getting lucky, getting unlucky, getting cold brew, that's the whole thing, and it makes it more fun and more intriguing to watch each other and see what they're gonna do with what they pulled, basically.
Yeah. So
I really love the idea, and we'll see how it goes until the end, in 3 weeks' time.
God, it seems like a long time, and but so much has happened this week already. Jake Giggs, what are your thoughts when you got the invite, man? Bit of nerves in there, thinking, please don't give me chosen, or something like that,
No. Always happy to be paired up with anybody. I thought it was a good idea, and I was excited about it because there's just not a lot to do right now. I get in these loops sometimes where I'm really only playing the game for the sake of putting something together for a video.
Yep.
And this is an opportunity to play the game for, I don't know, there's a reason to play it. So it's I was excited about how much fun it would be, and in getting to engage regularly with everybody. I thought it was a great idea.
Yeah, I think it's just a next step in the community, right? I think everyone's getting involved, everyone's getting hyped, everyone's seeing the numbers on their Twitch, and like everyone's really interested in the Affinity Cup and what we're doing. So yeah, great idea, Hades, and yeah, good stuff, man. So the matchups, guys. So as you know, if you check out on raidfocus.com, also you'll see the matchups. We've got Team Dragon and Team Spider. Hades, talk us over your team, man. Who have you got on you, and yeah, what affinities do you have?
Yeah. So I managed to pull Void Affinity, which I think it's got its advantage and its disadvantage. I don't know if we're going to go over that in a bit later, are we?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So but on my team then we've got Jay Giggs coming to join us. We've got Murder Inc. And then I have got
The Everlate
Kizzle, yeah. Kizzle. So I just thought when I was trying to select people from the group, the content creator group, I thought it'd be cool if we could just get a diverse group of people that focus on different things in the game.
Yeah.
Perhaps they've got different specialisms, or some perhaps even more tuned towards of comedy stuff. Some people are like super end game. Some people looking at more of a kind of mid-tier sort of setup. So all of those different variants are quite cool to throw into a competition like this, because actually we're all going head to head in very different content than what we'd normally do.
Yeah.
So that's my team, man.
That's cool, man. Like, so any kind of matchups that you're looking for to sort of seeing the progress on, or are you just like interested in all of them?
I feel like the matchups have actually come out really, really strong.
Yeah.
So we've got Stu Gaming against Kizzle, and those two used to team up quite a bit back when Kizzle was kind of doing Raid as his main game.
Yeah.
So that was quite a cool thing that dropped out. Murder Inc. is going up against Cold Brew, which feels like a really cool matchup as well.
Yeah.
I ended up getting chosen, which is bloody tough. He won the last thing that we did, and he goes at stuff really hard.
Yeah.
And then obviously you two together, Saffron and Jay Gig. So I just feel like the matchups actually came out really solid. And I was asking in my stream last night, what do you think? Who's going to win the different sort of matchups head to head? And it really was like down the line. It feels like it could go either way on basically all of them apart from mine, where I was a definite favourite. But no, no, it just felt like it was pretty much down the line across the board.
I completely agree. I mean, Cold Brew, anything to say on that? I think it's like it does seem pretty 50-50. What were your thoughts when you first got sort of matched up with Murder Inc. And what were your thoughts on the other pairings?
I thought the pairings were great. Actually, I really wanted to get up against Murder Inc. to see what we could do against each other, and then up on the Affinity, I think Force. I didn't expect to get Force. I thought I would get Spirit because I think Spirit's the worst.
Yeah.
But yeah, I got a bit lucky with Force and a bit luckier than most with the Force pulls that I did. So overall, I think it's going well. Although I do think he has some advantage. I think I can beat him up later on in the other challenges.
It's gonna be interesting, man. I mean, he's literally broken Murder Inc. He's literally broken the world record on Clan Boss today, right? 1 key, 77 million, something like that. I mean, worrying times. I mean, when people are doing numbers like that, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah, he won't have the legendaries to do it today, though.
Or the gear, but on
the Affinity.
But yeah, maybe a Relic Keeper and a sort of a Skull Crusher. You can do work on that, mate. Yeah, it's gonna be tough, man. But yeah, I'm looking forward. You and Murder Inc. is really one of the matchups that I'm really kind of focusing on, because you just don't know what's gonna happen, right? And yeah, I'm very interested. Maybe like the tension gets a bit much, and you both create something out of nothing later on in the weeks. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing how that sort of progresses. Jay Giggs, my arch nemesis for the next 3 weeks. You've had a great start already, but yeah, what's your sort of thoughts on the pairings, and are you keeping an eye on anyone at the moment, apart from me?
Yeah. I agree. I don't think the pairings could have gone better. I think I think it all worked out great. I was hoping over anything else that Stu and Kizzle would get paired together, because I knew that would be a blast to watch. And I think Hades and Chosen is very fitting. I think Colbert and Murder Inc. is probably the most interesting pair.
Right.
And then, like I said, I was hoping I would get paired with you, because you and I haven't really gotten to do anything together yet. So I think it worked out perfectly. I don't think it could have gone better.
Yeah,
for us or the viewers.
Yeah, I think that's a good point as well. From the viewer's point of view, I think it's there's excitement and questions for every pairing, right? And yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, Hell Hades and Chose, I think, would have been really, really a lot closer if Hell Hades didn't get that Bellower or Chosen did get one. I think Chosen is really hoping for a Skull Crown this weekend. I think if Chosen does get that Skull Crown, I think that's going to be putting him right back. But we're still in day 1 or day 2 technically, so lots of time to go for Hades to start sweating. Yeah, so I think
one champion doesn't win a contest. I mean,
does
Bellower is cool for like clearing campaign and stuff, which is the first week challenge. But yeah, when we get deeper into this, Bellower's not going to be the be all and end all of this.
Well, as starts go, though, I mean, you know, we're all struggling to kind of get to 12-7 brutal just for starters, and like you've cleared that, you're on the potion grow. You know, we're probably going to get.
Yeah,
to
but I've got to admit, I'm in Nightmare campaign now. Just while we're chatting, and you know, I've just got to stage 2-6. I didn't 3-star it, so you know, it's not as easy as you think. It's but he's solid. Look, we know he's solid. We know that I've got a good champ there, but I think come week 2, week 3. We'll see a different setup. He's got he's got some great clan boss champions, and I feel like I'm struggling on clan boss.
Right.
But you know, we'll see. All of the teams are going to just have to pull out a lot of thinking to overcome what's coming at them. You know, that's the whole point of it, isn't it?
Talking of thinking, he's there. Oh, he's here. He's there. He's every effing where. It's Kizzle-Roo. How you doing, Kizzle-Roo?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Sorry about the delay there. I ended up having some late nights on this new Affinity Cup, and they caught up with me. I ended up sleeping a little bit. So.
Just a little bit, mate. Yeah, I zonked out for like 10 hours last night, man. It was just insane. Yeah, great to have you with us, man. So let's kind of go back a little bit, and we want to get into your origin story, Kizzle. How did you kind of get started within the game? How long have you been playing? I know you've been like on and off for a while, but when did you first start playing the game, and how did you get into Raid, man?
Yeah, I want to say it was probably March of last year.
Right.
And I was playing the game called Age of Magic.
I played that too. That was good. That was all right.
It was a pretty good little game. I was in I think I was in the #1 guild in Age of Magic, and then the much like Raid, you know, the content was really stagnant. So most of our guild was like, hey, we're all going to go create a new guild in Raid, and you know, Raid was a similar looking game, you know, as far as the aesthetics were concerned.
Yeah.
So I jumped over and very quickly quit playing Mage Magic and was just all in on Raid, you know.
Yeah.
And as far as content goes, I was actually making videos for Age of Magic, but they were like phone recorder videos with no cam, and they were going very well for Age of Magic. I was one of their. They had like 3 main YouTubers. I was one of their 3, and after that, you know, coming over to Raid, pretty quickly felt like I could start doing some clan boss videos.
Uh-huh.
And so I started doing a similar setup, and then you know, pretty quickly, you know, kind of take it upon myself to kind of say, okay, well, you know, this is getting more traction than I thought it would. I'm going to go ahead and get a camera and get a better computer, get a green screen, and you know, go through basically all that stuff to have more of a professional looking channel.
Nice, man. So when you first started playing the game, can you remember like the first champion that you picked at that time?
Oh yeah, I picked Gallic because, you know, I'm all for anybody that's got some size on them and then a beard, and
right.
You know, I mean, Gallic for me, you just had to have the look, you know.
That's it. It just reminds me of Blanca from Street Fighter, man. I was like, damn, he looks cool. And so yeah, I went with him too. And Jay Giggs went with Gallic too. So there we go, the Gallic crew in the house today. I like it.
Nice.
Was Gallic your first 60, or did you get a legend beforehand?
No, I pulled Bad L pretty quickly.
Holy Hannah. How quick was that? Was he your first 60 then, was he?
I think I pulled Bad L on my first week playing, if not like the very beginning of my second week playing.
Right.
And I pulled Kymar as well. I pulled Kymar. Actually, I pulled Mashalad, who was terrible back then, on like my first day.
Right.
Then I pulled Kymar pretty quickly after that, then Bad L. And at the time, I don't know if you guys remember it, but you know, all the main information came from on the game came from a guy named Bade.
Right.
And Bade would write these massive novels of guides for Reddit. And someone that knew Bade was in Bade's guild actually manages the subreddit and still does.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
so, like, I was in Bade's guild, and, like, basically, he was the most knowledgeable person in the game at the time. So when I pulled Bad L, I was like, what should I do? And he was like, well, that's your first 6-star. Like, get his accuracy up and, put him in the best gear you have, and you kind of win the game. So at that point, I kind of had a little bit of an unfair advantage over most people that were trying to grind at the same pace I was.
So how do you remember how close into the game that you got that Bad L? Was it like days, weeks?
It was probably like 8 or 9 days into the game. So I mean, it was pretty quick.
See, as you sort of started progressing into the game with your Bad L, what was like your first kind of biggest mistakes within the game? Like, did you feed any champs that you didn't see again for a year, or did you badly gear someone with like 0 speed or something like that? Any bad mistakes?
I've always done it within the game I play. I typically try to find somebody that's much smarter than I am, and then I ask them, and then 3 or 4 other people before I do anything. And I had Bade and a couple people in the guild that I was in. I think it was called Frozen North, and back then I want to say it was a top 20 guild. So from day one, I was actually in their feeder guild. So but I was in their Discord. So from day one, I had like really good advice. All around me. So I didn't do anything too crazy. I do remember 6-starring Executioner pretty early on and then not really using him a whole lot. Yeah. But he really was not a terrible campaign farmer because Bad L, even at 6-star, could not get past, I think, hard mode campaign. I think the last one, campaign 12. So I did have to use Executioner to do that. Nice. But I remember kind of feeling like maybe there was a better way to do that because basically I had 6-star Executioner to get through campaign, and then he went right to the vault. So
that is all. Like when I first started the game, and I was looking on YouTube and places to just try and get some basic info, it seemed like everywhere you looked, Executioner was the one to do. He was the champion to 6-star, and I was like, I don't have this guy, and it just seemed like it was just old news. It was just old information, but it was all that was out there when I started.
He was the character of the day, right? So before all these champions that we have now, Executioner was farmable. He got nerfed like 3 months after like the beta sort of finished. But yeah, he got nerfed pretty quick. But he was the guy to go to. He had like triple counter attack, and he regenerated the health with the shield, and he literally just if he had counter attack on you, he counter attacked 3 times or something, and now it's like just the 2. But he was so broken, and he was farmable. So those who just started playing the game literally just got told to farm Executioner, and that was it, and everyone got Executioner. I mean, do you remember those days, Kizzle? I mean, that's crazy.
Oh, that was exactly when I played it. And unfortunately, I 6-starred him like post nerf, and I remember I kept asking like people like, "Hey, wasn't he nerfed?" And they were like, "Well, he's still really good." And to be fair, I mean, he wasn't bad, but he essentially back then you needed to have him in like really stellar lifesteal gear.
Yeah,
and he was defense based, so he was really tanky. He put out surprisingly good damage. And he did counterattacks, and then he had 1 AoE ability. So I mean, he wasn't bad, but we didn't have the the excellent stream of content creators that we do now. So when he got nerfed, there was no one really there to say, well, maybe it's not the best idea right now.
Yeah.
There was just a bunch of videos saying how amazingly broken he was, and after the nerf, he was good, but he wasn't what he previously was.
So I'm guessing Cold Brew and J Gigs, you probably missed that Executioner party, or did you catch that at all?
I was here for it, but I never participated. Like I remember when he was good and people were soloing Menno 15 with him and stuff, but I never made my way around to building him.
Cold Brew?
Yeah, I was here when he was great, but like everyone else was saying, like I was trying to find reasons not to level him up because I also had Aethel, and everyone said, okay, Aethel could do 12-3 in like 60 seconds. So I said, okay, the 60 seconds, that sounds great. I'll be able to do that. So I had Aethel. I couldn't do 60 seconds. I think I did 1.5 minutes per run until I started getting better gear. because I was like almost free to play then. I spent like $10 in about 4 months.
Yep.
So yeah, until I got something better, I didn't really bother with Executioner or Relic Keeper, because they were also on about Relic Keeper at the time.
Yeah. I think Relic Keeper was one of the earliest fusions, though. You know, there was very limited option other than Relic Keeper at the time. He may have been the only option. So, yeah, that was pretty cool. So, Kizzle, going back to your origin story, just to finish off, like things you feel you can still improve on. Obviously, you're perfect in every way, but I mean, things that you can still improve on, and your favorite champs and team within the game at the moment.
You know, as far as I would say account improvements, I mean, I wish I wouldn't have taken that period of time off, because I did miss the Siphi and Rodos window, and I would like to round out the in-game content that I do or used to do and want to do when I come back, or I'm actually back now, but want to get back to, I should say. I'd like to round it out by doing more Platinum Arena. Yeah. I think the only content creator right now that's doing Platinum Arena is Hell Hades, and then maybe a few Twitch streamers that aren't in that the circle that I deal with and interact with, at least.
Yeah.
And the challenge of that is it's such a one-note meta. It's a little bit frustrating. So, like, nothing about Platinum Arena is a bunch of fun for me. It's pretty, it's challenging as far as it's not a balanced arena where if you have, champions outside the meta, you can still participate, you can get creative, So it's more challenging in that frustrating sense that I don't have those two champions that you really need right now to be viable.
Yeah.
But I would like to. I actually got to Platinum for about 5 minutes and then got knocked right back out with the same nuke strategy that I used to use with Ithos, Molly, Ithos, the Witch, and I keep saying Arminger now, Arbiter.
Yeah.
It's amazing how your perspective shifts when you're farming for greens because you rolled Spirit.
You got yourself a Saurus though, so you're okay. You're good.
Yeah, I did get the Saurus. Haven't seen the elusive Arminger yet, or the Zephyr Sniper, or any of those Soulbound Warrior. But yeah, I would say as far as my account goes, I mean, if I could pull something, that helped me be a little more relevant, or I would say the main thing I can do right now to try to be more relevant in Platinum is probably get better at Faction Wars, because I have really good speed gear. I just don't have all the +7s, +8s.
Right.
So that'll be a focus as well.
Just talking about the meta, or just Platinum Arena in general. Like, I got into Platinum this week, and I was sitting at about 21st with 10 minutes to go. And I was constantly attacking for that last 10 minutes and constantly winning, and I ended up 203rd, because the last 10-15 minutes is literally bedlam with so many people, good teams, just trying to get into that plat spot. 300 spots in this game is so small, and I mean, you've just got to have an insane team to hold it and an insane defense to hold it, because you're getting attacked 10 times quicker than you can attack. So they do need to do something about it. It's just not balanced enough, and it's not set up in a way that it's very encouraging for players that aren't absolute kind of mega whales.
Well, there's obviously that kind of interest, because obviously you wouldn't get knocked out so quick. Like there's just so many people trying to get involved in that top 300, right? That it's just impossible. And I can't even imagine that last 10-15 minutes. That's just going to be crazy. The 2 times Void is currently up, guys, by the way, if you didn't know. So that has just gone live. Your favourite champs and team at the moment, and Kizzle, in your account at the moment. Do you have a couple of favourites? Like, yeah, that's absolutely amazing.
Yeah, it's hard for me to not love Ithos,
Yeah.
He has a little bit of utility with the S2. I'll tell you one thing right now, guys. It's really challenging to get into another game that's similar, like E7, because I think in I don't even remember right now, but it's either A2 or S2, depending on which game you play, right? And then it's champions or heroes, right? So, like, I'm gonna say all this stuff wrong, like the entire time,
Even actually, I go and play League of Legends with my buddies that I've played with for a long time. They know I'm doing all this stuff, and I keep calling like the Drakes dragons, and I keep calling the different heroes champions, and like, mate, why do you keep talking like that? And
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm sorry, I'm from a different game. My brain is like contorted to raid Shadow Legends. I can't do anything else.
It's a real challenge, man, and of course, the viewers like to remind you of it, and at least they get some entertainment out of it because it's frustrating for me. But yeah, definitely Ithos. Outside of that, I was excited to grind up to platinum with Ithos. Certainly, he's not anything you can use in a defensive strategy, but that was exciting. So kind of reminded me that he's still quite viable. Outside of that. Alton for me has always been a favorite champion because again you're talking about somebody that just has a ton of utility, and then in addition to that, strong survival and actually hits quite hard. I like to do a little bit more with him, and I kind of want to do a deep dive into Grizzled Jarl. When I did the campaign, or when I did the clan boss strategy with Mr. P, he had done a lot of work with Grizzled Jarl, and then he was even telling me at one point he was farming, I think IG-20 with just Grizzled Jarl and Alton,
Wow.
which I didn't know you could do, But deep dives into pretty cool defense-based champions are something that I definitely want to do a little more of.
That's cool, man. Yeah, well, thanks a lot for sharing your origin story. It's great to have you on, man. We're here for the Affinity Cup, though. We're all about the Affinity Cup for the next 3 weeks. We've gone over what it is, and we've kind of gone over the matchups as well. I just want to get your sort of take on the matchups. Also, you've been paired with Stu Gaming to start with. What was that like getting paired up against Stu Gaming, man? You've known each other for a while, right?
Yeah, honestly, I was really excited about it because I've known Stu for a long time, and then I started to feel really bad because the only fair pairing would have been me against Hell Hades,
Right.
He's the only player like on my level of gameplay. I mean, I'm sorry, Jay Giggs, I don't mean, or in Cold Brew, I don't mean to bash you guys like that while we're all sitting next to each other.
Waiting for my name.
It's just, yeah, you and Saffron, man,
Thank you. There we go.
Bad, man.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I haven't had a full coffee yet, guys. You gotta mind me a little bit here, but I felt like it was a really unfair pairing, and I've been really trying to avoid the cyberbullying, and I knew I was going to become the cyberbully,
Right.
when I got paired against Stu, because it would just be a complete slaughter. And I went back through our chat logs and reminded myself that I taught him how to beat Spider 20. I helped him with his speed farming on Dragon 20, and I just kind of thought to myself, like, it's kind of like Arnold Schwarzenegger back in Pumping Iron. Like, I'm just going to give this guy the wrong advices because he learned the entire game from me in the first place, So, yeah, I would have liked. I like a challenge. I would have liked to have been paired up against Hell Hades or Murder Inc. That would have been a lot of fun for me, But they gave me Stu,
Right.
So it's. It's going to be fun, because we're both, huge trash talkers. And, the other thing is, to be totally honest, I'm actually really excited about it because Stu and I can do that level of trash talking, and I know I'm not going to hurt his feelings. And
Yeah.
I'll feel bad if I hurt someone's feelings. We had a feelings hurt incident yesterday where Cold Brew was just tearing into someone on his own team. And I had to really reel him in. I said, Cold Brew, man.
Yeah, I just couldn't stop.
You gotta reel it in, buddy. I mean, this guy's in tears over here.
Oh,
and so I'm happy that I can tear into Stu like that, and Stu's not gonna, Stu's just gonna give it as good as he gets it, So I'm actually pretty pumped about that.
Well, so yeah, like when you guys did your shots, it was just like amazing timing. Someone mentioned that you jumped online. I had no idea you guys were going to do your pools then. I decided to raid you. Lo and behold, you were doing your pools in like 15 minutes. There was 15 minutes of Stu telling you to fix your equipment, even though it was him unplugged. And then that just started off the whole stream, and I did like a 90-minute reaction to that because that was just, I was in tears at 4 o'clock in the morning, just watching you and Stu just manipulate each other and just take the mick out of each other. And the pools that you got, just we're going to go into the pools as well. But yeah, it was absolutely hilarious, man. And That was great, and it's good to see that chemistry, because we haven't seen that chemistry from you and Stu in a long time. So it was really cool to see that back. That was great, man, and hundreds of people have watched that as well. So fair play, man. That was really cool. But yeah, any other pairings across the board that you're keeping an eye on?
Honestly, I'm very interested to see how far Hell Hades pushes Brad, because if you were to really rate the content creators, I mean, Brad's been doing it for a very long time, but I feel like Brad's kind of been stuck in the mid game, and Hell Hades has been, really focused on end game,
Okay. Yeah.
And I think Brad's going to have to level up his game here to hang with Hell Hades, and Brad's an intense guy. I mean, Brad is not going to like getting curb stomped, which is what's about to happen to him, So it's going to be fun for me to watch Brad. If you guys remember back on I won't use a wrestling analogy because we're doing video games, but if you guys remember back on the high warlord grind, Tuesday would roll around and one of your buddies would just curb stomp your points for the week, and then you're like, nah, man, I'm not gonna put up with this. And then you played for like 5 days straight.
Right.
That's gonna be Brad the first time he realizes how bad Hell Hades is on him. That's gonna be fun to watch. And then it's gonna be also fun to watch Murder Inc. in his laid back nature just take everyone to school, on how to play this game and win the entire tournament, single handedly. With very little effort. That's going to be fun to watch too. Not as entertaining as Brad, though.
Right. I just want to tell for the viewers that Kizzle is on each of those members' teams that he's talking about. Okay, so he's yet to talk about Jay Giggs, but what do you think of the pairing of myself and Jay Giggs, Kizzle?
Oh, I'm excited because you guys both haven't interacted too much. I love anything that Jay Giggs does when he brings in, his sense of humor. He is. I mean, people will get a few laughs out of me, but I am not even remotely as funny as Jay Giggs is. So I'm interested to see if Jay Giggs gets inspired to do something really funny out of all this. Because we've all seen how funny he can be when he does that. As far as you guys both in the playing is concerned, I'm interested. You guys are both Magic Affinity.
Yeah.
And the one thing I know about Magic Affinity is it's like it's kind of the easy roll. I mean, if you get Magic, it's an automatic win. So if either one of you guys lose to, like, let's say a Spirit, content creator, I'm going to be just shocked, because obviously you guys got handed the free win with the Magic Affinity.
Well, that is Kizzle introducing his whole team and literally just as one-sided as you could be. However, but yeah, we all know that the pools that we got, obviously, Kizzle, we're about to go into the pools right now. We might as well start with your pools, Kizzle, since you kind of brought it up, and we might as well get ours out of the way. How did your pools go, Kizzle?
Oh, they went horribly. I mean, they went as horribly as you could expect them to when you're playing Spirit, It was, honestly, at first, if you watch, like, the video, there's like this moment where I look like totally defeated, and I knew that was coming, but I had high hopes that somehow I would luck out and just, I would get something. The thing I was really holding out for was Vrask.
Yeah. And
guys, just in case your followers have chosen, that is not pronounced Vrask. That is pronounced Vrask.
Right. What was the other one he said? I can't remember. It was Vrask and another one.
Oh God,
K-Risk.
K-Risk. Yes. K-Risk.
No, Ignatius is the bad one. Like it took when I did a collab with Brad one time, and he said the word. He said Ignatius, and I sat there for a while, like, what are you saying right now? And I was looking, so I thought I might have to call 911. I thought I was having a stroke.
Jeez.
And then all of a sudden, I realized he meant Ignatius, and I was like, oh man, okay,
Words are different to many people, man, honestly. But yeah, back to your pools. Who did you get again?
At first, I got absolutely no one, and when I say no one, I mean like I got Spirit Host, who's farmable, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely no one. And I kind of sat there like, oh, this is just terrible. And honestly, like I wasn't even at that point where like my competitive mentality was kicking in. I was starting to formulate a plan. I was just thinking to myself, this is going to be the worst 3 weeks. Like I don't even know what I'm going to do.
It showed. It was so funny. It was great.
And then chat kept saying spend your gem to enroll another, 11 ancients. And at first I was like, no way, guys, that's insane. That's just going to add insult to injury, right?
Yep.
And then I sat there for a bit and I was like, it could get worse, but it really, how is it going to be worse than this, And then I kept thinking, I'm going to have to look at this from the perspective of like everyone's having a laugh at Kizzle.
Yeah.
Which I was okay with, but I had to kind of like go from I'm going to win this whole thing to I'm here for entertainment, and I split that switch, and that's when I cracked the ancients, and then lo and behold, I pulled a steel skull, which is a raid boss. I mean, he can do it all. Essentially, Plarium, it's kind of like Draco Gate. We're going to call it Steel Skull Gate, but they were watching it live, and they needed to make sure I was going to win. So they slid him in there, not through the inbox, like Draco Gate, but he actually came in proper, from the summon.
And then you also spent money during that night, and you logged in, and you got another shard, right? You bought another shard, didn't you? And you got someone else.
That's how this story is probably going to play out.
That's
and
what you said.
Unfortunately, Plarium is probably going to have to get involved at some point to say I didn't. But I actually went to the shop. And I got the weekly ancient shard, right? And I cracked it. The morning, I'm like, okay, cool. Got my coffee. Time to get motivated. I'm going to go ahead and start this Affinity Cup. Oh, I have an ancient. I'm going to crack this thing. And I pulled Luria, who's amazing for Spirit, right? And as soon as I pulled Luria, I was like, oh, no. I spent the entire day yesterday talking about how I was going to cheat my way through this tournament. And I didn't stream this or record it. Like, no one's going to believe me now, you know?
Yeah.
So I immediately went live and jumped in the Saffron Man's channel and was like, hey, man, I just pulled this Luria, And Saffron Man, being the clever and handsome man that he is, was like, oh, dude, you totally bought that. You spent money on that. And I was like, no. We'll see how this plays out. We'll see how this plays out.
So. Chat didn't believe you either, so, we're good. So Hell Hades, like your pools though, man, like you got some really, really, really nice pools. Obviously the crown jewel of your pools is probably your Bellower, right? So let's talk us through your pools, man. What did you get?
Yeah, so I did. I got a legendary, so I got a warlord now guarding the vault because we're not allowed to use those. But that's quite nice just to have sitting there as someone looking on as I take down the competition. But yeah, no, I did get a Bellower. I got a Fellhound. I got myself a couple of Cold Hearts, a couple of Bulwarks. I got a Golden Reaper. So, yeah, and then because we were on the Summon event, I also managed to get a cheeky Umbral in the mix. So, yeah, lots of pretty decent champions, actually. Lots to work with.
A cheeky Umbral Enchantress is absolutely right. I didn't even see that until the tournament started. It was like, oh... They also get that as well. But it's crazy. You got some really nice champs. But how well is that Bellower doing for you, man? We're going to go over the first steps soon. But yeah, how well is that Bellower doing for you right now?
Yeah, Bellower's doing fine. He's got me through the campaign pretty swiftly. Especially with Umbral at his side, just sort of chilling their way through. Brutal. Started to crack on with Nightmare now because Brutal was a bit easy, really. Freestyled all of that. But and now we're doing a bit of potion grind. Yeah, so Bellower is good. One challenge I've got is poison. Like Void Champions, we don't have poisonous.
Right.
And we're not, obviously we can't use legendaries anyway, but I think the only one that would really stack up would be like a Venus. So maybe if I got a Rowan today with this double Void chance, it could be really cool. But other than that, you just got to kind of get your damage out elsewhere on Dragon and Clan Boss.
Yep.
But yeah, no, I'm pretty happy. But then, you know what? Chosen got some good pulls as well. Other than the Bellower, when I was sitting there watching his pulls, I was thinking he has got good champions here. Yep. He got a Padma, Seducer, he got a Cold Heart as well, Bulwark as well. Yep. So yeah, he's actually got really good champs as well. I'd say it's pretty close between us.
If he pulls a Skull Crown this weekend, I think it's game on, honestly. That could be the big difference. I think if he gets his Skull Crown, that could be really cool. You've got a head start on everyone, that is for damn sure. Cold Brew, man. So when Murder Inc. first pulled his shards, like lots of people were thinking, mate, that's a really good selection. and then you went ahead and you pulled eight Force epics, right? And you spent a key on the clan boss yesterday, and you got like over 1 million just by putting them together on the team. So, how did those pulls feel like for you? And what were your thoughts about Murder Rinks? What are your thoughts, man?
Man, I was really anxious when I saw his pulls because he did the pulls like very early in the morning for me. He sent me the video, and I didn't watch it. I kept waiting until I had time to record and everything.
Yeah.
So I will be ready for a proper reaction, you know.
Yeah.
So when I got the time to record, I said, okay. He told me he was very hyped, so I was a bit anxious. And then I just started the video going. I saw the Skull Crusher after 10 shards, and then he opened up a Sacred and opened a Battle. I said, thank God we can't use legendaries because he would just destroy me.
Yeah.
But yeah, Skull Crusher was a great pick for him. And I think the most clutch, I think even worse than Skull Crusher, was the Relic Keeper.
Yeah.
Because it's really his campaign farmer. And since week 1 is all about the fastest farm, yeah, I think he's going to win that part for sure. But yeah, we've got Dragon as well to worry about. So my picks, I think they're great in terms of Thanasil is a great healer, but all the others are they're okay, but they're not top tier. I mean, we didn't get any of the top tier like Zergala. Maybe Nazana will be amazing for either of us.
Yeah.
But yeah, we didn't see those. So overall, I think Force, we're gonna have a good competition in terms of the dungeons. I think that's where I'm gonna try and win, because the clan boss, get the Skull Crusher up with a few War Masters going. I think he's gonna just do much better damage than each and every one of us.
Yep.
So yeah, that's it.
That's cool, man. So Jay Giggs, so we got paired off against each other, and we literally did reactions to each other's pulls as well. I like a gentleman, I kind of let the guest go first, and I'll let you do your thing. I really wish I went first now. I think you did so well, man. How did your pulls go?
They were good. I definitely can't complain about the rates. I got some interesting stuff to work with.
5 Sacreds, 4 Magic Epics, right?
Yep. And then 2 more from the Ancients themselves. So.
He opened up his Sacreds chat. I was looking at him. I was like, he's got all those Epics and 30 more Ancients to go. I was like, oh, mate. But yeah, you did some really cool Epics. What were your Epics from those Sacreds again?
I got Jarang, Atur, Flesh Terror, I think is his name.
Jotun and Necro Hunter, right?
Jotun, Necro Hunter, yep.
Yeah. Yeah, really cool Epics there, man. So yeah, you like doubled my Epics just for the Sacreds, and then you got the Ancients. I mean, what are some of the Ancients that you got? You got an Apothecary like I did as well, right?
Yeah, I got the Apothecary, Frozen Banshee, Fleshmonger.
Yeah.
Stout Axeman is one I'm excited to build. There's some fun ones in there that I've been meaning to get to on my main, but it's just hard to make yourself get down and focus on rares when you don't have to, you know?
Yeah, know that feeling. And just kind of finished off like Kizzle, what did Stu get again? I think he called a Vergis and he pulled a Vergis, right?
Oh, he got amazing rolls. I mean, it's not going to help him none, you know. But he got amazing rolls, man. He literally said, I want to pull a Vergus. And then, like, a pull later, pulled a Vergus. And I was sat there like, are you serious, dude? You know? And then he said he wanted Soulbound Boyer. He pulled Soulbound Boyer. And then I'm trying to think of what else he got. He got Mistress of Hymns, so he got some heals. She's really strong, to be honest. He got a good balanced team. He does not have a poisoner, you know, and I have Steel Skull, so that's going to be good. But I can't tell you what I would do if I were him. I mean, honestly, if I were him, I'd probably start paying Murder Inc. or Hell Hades to play my account, you know. That's the only thing I can think I would do, you know. It doesn't really matter. He just doesn't possess the skill set to do anything with a good team, you know. So it's just a little tougher, man. But he had amazing pulls. Amazing pulls. If he's not first or second place, well, he won't be, but he should be with those pulls.
He's on my team. He's so getting first or second, so don't you worry, we're good. So, any other thoughts from anyone else about the pulls that we all had? I still think Murders was very strong pulls. Who do we think had the strongest pulls?
I mean, I guess for an early push, it's hard to argue that it wasn't Hell Hades. The Bellower is going to be nice to have early on. I agree that
for sure,
as things progress, he's going to fall off. Bellower is going to fall off a little bit in that
I hope so.
in the sense of the tournament. But early push, that's a great pull.
Yeah, it's so strong. And we was looking at the multi-screen, right? And all we saw was just Hell Hayes just literally just walking through with a fully ascended Bella at 6 stars. Like, I'm looking at my 5-star 3 ascended Gallic and Apothecary. I'm like, this isn't how it's meant to be. But yeah, I think you've really got that. You got off the blocks really quick there, Hades. I mean, so what do you think is everyone's strongest area of the game? Looking at the pools and collections of characters that you've got, Jay Giggs, where do you think you're going to be strongest going forward? I'm dying to know.
Oh man, I don't think there's anywhere that I'm really going to struggle too bad if I'm going to be real about it. I feel pretty comfortable with what I have to work with in every part of the game. I think if there's anywhere that's going to be a struggle, it's going to be Spider. I don't know that there's a ton to do with Spider in Magic Affinity as it is, at least with what I have, but
if there were any words I didn't want you to say, I am comfortable is definitely one of them. So that's kind of worrying. I think we're all going to struggle in Spider really to some extent, especially on the certain affinities. But yeah, man, it's comfortable is not what I'm thinking. Like I think I'm going to be okay on the clan boss once I've got everyone else kind of up and ready. I've got Hades' blessing apparently, so it's okay. We're all right. I think that's the only team I'm going to be sort of strong at. Gallic is going to be kind of slow in the farming and stuff, but yeah, we should get all right. Cold Brew, where do you think you're going to be strongest, man?
I think I'm going to be strongest in the dungeons compared to Murder Inc. Maybe not the Fire Knight because of that counter.
Yeah.
And also ally protection as well. But I think in general the dungeons I would have a better position with the healers that I have. Even Romero is okay.
Yeah.
I've got Thenassel and Romero, so I've got 2 healers there and a couple of other champions that might work together to progress through the dungeons.
Yeah, don't sleep on Romero though. I mean, Thenassel is very good, but I've got people in my chat that have literally been carried by Romero for so long. And they'll die by him now, and they're quite literally. So Romero's definitely got his uses as well, man. Hades, where do you think you're going to be strongest? I think. Do you think right now is your strongest area of the game because of Bellower, or do you think you're going to be really strong elsewhere later on?
Well, it would be a crying shame if I don't win the campaign battle. Like, I can't see anyone. I'd say that it's a long way to go. Like, a week is a long time in this game.
Yeah.
When we're all going at it as hard as we are. So right now, I'm way out in front. But campaign's quite easy, so if you've got a good defensive-based AoE champ, you can probably catch me up. I actually think my strongest area of the game is probably the arena. Like, I've got Bellower, I've got Umbral, I've got Golden Reaper, so I've got quite a good team just to throw a cleave in there.
Yeah.
And if I can just keep pushing arena quite hard and get the right gear to do that, then we're getting stored on arena right through the contest. So that's going to be an area that I'm going to focus quite hard on for gearing.
Nice, that's really good. So yeah, arena. I probably haven't put much thought in arena at the moment, but yeah, we'll probably get there. Kizzle, what do you think your strongest area of the game is going to be, apart from total world domination, obviously?
Yeah, that's where I was actually going to go with it. I think in this first week we're being judged directly on Fire Knight points. Is that right? So I feel pretty strong about what was it?
This is where Kizzle not reading the rules comes into effect. So yeah, it's the dragon, pretty sure, right? In the campaign.
Okay. So I think this will be a good week. I think this will be a good week for me. Campaign. I don't think an AoE farmer is going to get as far through the campaign as you think. I think Hell Haze is going to have a little bit harder time. Probably. I mean, here's the problem, right? And this is where everybody's kind of forgetting things. Saurus, Shield Guard, Bellower. These are all amazing AoE farmers, right?
Which you found out about yesterday. Yeah.
Which I did, and I did do a little research. I think Cold Brew has a video on one of them. I watched part of it, and more importantly, I watched the part where he showed his gear.
Right.
Here's the problem, right? The multipliers on these champions are probably not good. Now I'm making an assumption here.
Yeah.
Because they're uncommons, I'm just going to assume they're not great. But every video I've seen has these particular champions in phenomenal gear. We do not have phenomenal gear, and we will not have phenomenal gear. So I think, and one thing I know for sure about Bellower is that he's very gear hungry. right? The minimum stats you have to get Belor to be an effective food farmer in game are very, very, very high compared to like where you would need to get a Skull Crown to, right?
Yeah.
Who just frankly has better multipliers.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's going to be a big problem that we're all going to run into. So the question is really going to be who has the strongest multipliers that maybe has, like, I'm telling you right now, Skull Crown would have been the ticket because Skull Crown has the unkillable.
Right.
Right. So even if she didn't get that kill off, she'd have that unkillable buff. You could still build her like a glass cannon. In that sense,
I mean, I'm thinking about getting her today. Her or
and you might with your luck. You might.
One shard on the dream, ladies, right? You got that one shard on the dream, right?
Yeah, who was it I said I wanted before? I can't even remember now. Skullcrown's the only one I'm thinking about now. Madame Sir, Madame Sir would still be better.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Madame Sir. Yeah, she has crazy multipliers too, and a ton of utility, and she decrease AOE's herself. So I mean, defense breaks herself. So it's that she would be absolutely huge. But I think that's something we're all going to keep in mind is these champions we've seen do really spectacular things, are doing spectacular things in spectacular gear, which we will most likely not have. So to answer the question pretty briefly, I'm going to have Steel Skull, and initially I thought Dragon was going to be the ticket for me.
Yep.
Because I would have the poisons, but I've been watching Steel Skull pretty hard in Dragon. I've been farming Dragon myself already, and he's not putting up enough poisons. But to be honest, Luria and Cage Breaker, if all goes well and the defense break goes up and Luria hits with her harder hitting, I have to manual it. They can push through that shield. So I think I have a clear path forward in campaign and in Dragon, but we're really going to have to see that. I don't think any of us is going to have the poisons to tick out of that shield on Dragon, and I don't think any of us are going to have the damage to break through that shield without a defense break.
My Frozen Banshee isn't even poisoning at the moment. there's not enough accuracy for the poison to even trigger. So yeah, there's that. Update: Cold Brew Murder Inc. pulled a Romero last night too, apparently. If you didn't know.
Oh, great!
So fellow teammate, just giving you the latest information.
Good to know.
Yeah. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So what were our first moves within the game, right? So we kind of literally we all waited for the countdown to get started, and then we got that maintenance, which was fun. So that was a 15-minute maintenance, and then we were anticipating what to do next. I think I kind of panicked through lack of sleep and excitement and just went into I think I just spent a clan boss key to kind of just start getting that clan boss key ticking. To be fair, I just whacked 5 characters in and died, and I was like, right, well that's that, and started moving on. Where did you guys start? Cold Brew, where did you start, man?
Say again?
Where did you start again? As soon as that timer clicked off, what was the first thing you did?
Just going through the missions, basically. I just started working on the missions.
Yep.
And yeah, I want to do them as I'm progressing through. So I'm not in a rush to do the campaign because I know I don't have a strong farmer.
Yep.
So I'm just going through the mission. Maybe I pick up some shards and gear that can help me just go faster once I have all my champions ready, really.
Yep. Some missions. That's a quite good idea. I'm guessing, Jay Giggs, did you go down the mission route too? What was your first starts?
A few of them. I haven't focused them too heavily.
Yeah.
I just started pushing campaign, and once I got Gallic and Apothecary to 30, I ranked them up and brewed them up and ranked them up again. Started getting potions, just kind of putting the resources into them. Now I'm starting to spread out a little bit and build actual teams for different things.
God, every time you talk, I get even more scared. Okay, so, jeez, Kizzle, what was your first move, man? Apart from start reading the rule book, what was your first move?
I didn't read the rule.
Just be clear, you literally agreed to do this. You set up everything else, and literally day one, you didn't know what we were doing, pretty much, right? Just
that's not uncommon for me.
Right.
To start something and have absolutely no idea what I'm doing. I'm like that guy in the comedy that's looking at the guy next to him, like, hey, what are we here for? So I'm pretty used to it, and the one thing that's helpful when you have a stream and followers and chat and whatnot is usually they'll tell you what you're doing wrong very quickly, so I have that going for me. To be honest, I'm theory crafting really hard, and I'm not breaking out the spreadsheets yet. one thing that it's a little surprising to me because I know Brad uses the spreadsheets quite a lot. Like in finance, so we use macros.
Yeah.
So like my spreadsheet will not do anything at all for this game. I wish it was a transferable skill set. It's not. But that being said, I actually kind of want to quantify the missions a little bit.
Right.
Because I started out doing missions, and now that I'm farming for like attack percentage on boots, I have to honestly say I do not think it's a good use of energy. And I've started to kind of pivot away from missions, and I can clear Dragon 10 right now. I can farm Dragon 10.
Okay.
So I've been farming Dragon 10 and getting 5-star gear. I think that's an excellent use of energy. To do that, to re-gear everyone. I just wish I had a better core 5, but I do have a pretty solid core 3.
Okay. So just the two short of a core 5. Okay. All right.
Yeah. So I'm content with that. But even if I had like a couple of the really good greens,
yeah,
where I could kind of round out that core 5, I'd be really happy. But yesterday I try to really focus hard on missions, and I'm kind of writing all this out as a starter guide. I do my first update video, and I'm not going to attempt to quantify it, but yeah, man, the missions are really tough because you're not getting a lot out of them, and I feel like you're probably spending a lot more energy. And then the one thing you kind of tell yourself is, well, hold on a minute. I get really good 3-star gear, which is true. But if you can farm Dragon 10, you're getting really good 5-star gear, right? So I think it's a better use of energy to go through Dragon.
So like Hellhead, like where did you end up starting, man? Did you start off at Dragon at all, or like what was your plan of action from the get-go?
No, I did actually focus on missions. I kind of worked my way through a lot of the missions just as it was kind of falling in line with what I was doing in the game.
Yeah.
One of the things I learned from doing the gold rush is don't forget to pop back to the arena here and there, because the battles you get at this level are really bloody hard. Like to find 2 or 3 that you can win in one full set is lucky. And I actually really think for like a starting team, all of us in the same boat, but we've started with an absolute, like a jet rocket up our backside. Well, for starting people, the arena's hard. It's really hard. But anyway, so I keep popping back to the arena. I've just blitzed my way through campaign. That was my thing. Get my way through campaign. And actually, I've started farming gear through campaign brutal. So I'm farming up 5-star lifesteal gear and 5-star speed gear at the moment to try and start gearing my guys out. And I've had a couple of like 5-star speed boots drop. So pretty much won the game already.
5-star speed boots already.
What you gotta do, man? Get yourself in that campaign, brutal, wherever it is, 6-5 or whatever. Easy, man. I actually went. I dropped a set of HP percentage 5-star speed gloves.
Yeah.
Then I went onto the chest and got a 5-star defense percentage chest, and then I went onto the boots and got a 5-star speed boot. I was in with my Twitch chat. I was like, guys, I've won. I've won the game. So yeah, that was a good start.
How much time did you spend in the beginning in the tavern, Hellhades? Did you spend much time in the tavern? Was like Bellower? Did you use those chickens straight away? Use any books straight away?
Bellower, I used brews and chickens and everything just to get him to a 6-star, and I left him at level 1 6-star, and then we started the game basically. So I pumped him full of brews. He was very intoxicated, and he hasn't stopped throwing his bellows out since. He's he was good. I didn't go beyond level 1 because I know that I was just going to pull in the XP pretty fast anyway. But I thought just get him as a 6-star so I can start moving him up to 60 as soon as possible. And then I've got one other champ now just coming up to 60, and then most of my other core 5 coming up for 50.
Man, that's crazy. Cold Brew, did you spend much time in the tavern, buddy? Like, did you level anyone up straight away? Any chickens or books used to just yet?
I did my Tenazzle straight away, as much as I could with the brews.
Yeah.
But I still haven't used my final 5 chickens. So I'm still thinking of who to 6-star next, because my other epics are not really top tier,
right?
Compared to Murder Inks, for example. Like he knew Relic Keeper and Skullcrusher straight away 6 stars. It's like the good choice to make.
Yeah.
So mine, I still need a good damage dealer. Tenasso's great for the heals. He's great as a support, but he doesn't do damage, and he's currently my farmer. So, yeah, that's the trouble I'm facing right now.
And J Gigs, so I think we're kind of in a similar position. We've both got Apothecaries and Galax as our main sort of farming sort of combination at the moment. What did you do in the tavern when you went in there for the first time? Did you kind of boost up anyone up? Did you use any of your chickens or books? What did you get up to in the tavern, man?
Yeah, I've put most of what I have into Apothecary. He's fully booked. I brewed him and Gallic up a good bit. They got the chickens, and then I used the 4-star chickens to bring up a couple of the rares and epics that I'm working on.
So I fully booked Apothecary before Gallic as well, and people were like, "What are you doing?" I was like, "Well, Apothecary is going to be a 6-star. I'm going to be probably in every team that I have, and I'm trying to replace Gallic as quick as I can anyway." So, yeah, I think Apothecary is like my main guy. I haven't done masteries on anyone just yet because I'm still opening up a couple of shards, and I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket kind of thing, right? So, yeah, I'm slowly kind of going through, but yeah, Gallic and Apothecary is unfortunately my pairing at the moment. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, you still got loads of books left, or have you got them all left? I've still got my 15 epic books.
Yeah, I haven't touched an epic book, but I did the rare. I did enough rares in Apothecary to get his A2 and A3 up.
Yeah.
And then I put some in Fleshmonger, and I'll probably put some in Frozen Banshee. I don't know. I'm still working on what I'm going to do with the rest of them and the ones that I get over time. But Apothecary's the dude for right now.
Nice. And Kizzle, I'm guessing Steel Skull got as much love as he could, right?
Oh yeah, Steel Skull. I took him up to 6-star right away, and then I actually just took Illyria to 6-star this morning, and I fully booked Steel Skull, which took all the books I had, and then one extra one that I picked up.
Right.
And I don't know that I'm going to book Illyria,
Yep.
but the key was getting Steel Skull's A1.
Yep.
Fully booked that way, which of course in typical raid fashion, it took every single skill upgrade to get him there. Luckily for him, his skills aren't really, there's nothing wasted. But and then I for me that was a good long-term investment. He's kind of a raid boss right now. He can just sit there and take all the damage and pump out damage, and then I also gemmed his masteries, and I'm really debating on whether or not to invest gems in Luria's masteries right now. I'm kind of stuck on that. I don't know for sure if it's something I want to do.
Yeah.
It would pretty much bring me down to 0 gems, but a small part of me wants to put her in Helm Smasher and see if that helps out a little bit with Dragon.
Oh yeah, that'd be really cool. So okay, so we are here now. We're like 24 to we're on our day 2 pretty much. We've got like a whole week of stuff to go on. So we've basically been talking about where we are now. What is everyone planning for the week ahead? Like, what's on everyone's mind? I mean, hell, Hades, you've had such a great start. What is next for you this week?
I think we get to the sort of nitty gritty now. It's just gearing. Yeah, it's just farming that gear, making sure you've got the right foods coming through all the time, resource management. Yeah, it's so I'm already at the stage where I'm looking at my energy thinking, yeah, it's getting low. Energy's getting low. Bella's kind of crashing through stuff too fast. I need to slow him down a bit. No, it's just trying to make sure you make use of what you got.
Cold Brew, any kind of thoughts for what's ahead for this week, man?
We're all just gonna keep grinding every single day and see where it goes, and see like the day we're gonna count the points. Who's gonna be first? That's gonna be Thursday, right? Thursday's gonna be the anxious day for everyone.
It's really. Fridays, isn't it? Fridays, we get the points.
Yeah, exactly. Thursday we're gonna be pushing, man.
Oh, that's true. Oh god, yeah. Kids will get prepared to lose sleep on Thursday, man. Honestly. So Jay Gigs, got any plans for the head, man? Are we just going to keep on lurk on each other and try and just stay ahead of each other, or have you got your game plan set for the week already?
I think I'm just kind of winging it. I'm kind of winging it as I go. I feel good.
Right, Kizzle,
I feel like a winner.
I'm guessing no plans from Kizzle.
No. I mean, I'm going to try to keep it a little bit open-ended. I mean, my big plans right now is focusing on Dragon. I mean, I hear Hell Hades on his 5-star speed boots. Although I have gotten some 5-star legendary gear already. So,
Mate, yeah,
gotta
5-star
make quick work.
Well, quick work is right, absolutely. But I mean, one of the big adjustments that we probably have to make since starting these accounts again is probably the gear, right? I mean, to go from these 5 and 6-star legendaries and epic gear pieces with these quad rolls and all that kind of thing, to go right back to the beginning. I mean, for some of us, we had to use 1 and 2-star items. You know, others just didn't see the need, right, Hell Hades? But what was your adjustment to your gear, man? I mean, did you even have time to adjust to 1 and 2-star gear again? Like, did you just like go blitz through and just not worry about it?
You know, we all start with that same gear set, the lifesteal set, right? And everybody gets the exact same lifesteal set. And loads of people have been asking me in Twitch, like, how have you geared this Bellower? And I'm like, guys, this is the starting gear. This is the starting gear every single person gets. That's all you need to do. Just level it up to 12, press play, get yourself a cup of tea.
Yeah.
So and he's still in it now. You know, he's slamming his way through Nightmare Campaign. Wonders when he's going to get a sort of new re-gear, and I'm like, look, dude, you're fine. Just keep doing your thing.
Just to prove how bad my luck is on shards, I just opened up 2 voids. I got 2 rares, and I just opened up 10 greens, and they were all 1-stars. So I should really stop opening up shards, I think. Holy. Oh.
It's nothing compared to what Cold Brew was doing the last thing we did, though, man. I was literally in his stream, and I watched him open up about 80 mystery shards and get all commons. It was just 10 commons after 10 commons, to the point where I actually just thought his account was broken. Like,
right.
Actually broken. Not even joking. I was like, shit, it's actually bugged. His account is bugged. It just got the worst possible pull you could get for every single shard that he ever opened.
I'm sure Cold Brew is delighted it's brought up again. Cold Brew, what are your thoughts on adjusting to the gear, man? Like, have you had to settle with that 3-star gear and stuff? Like, well, obviously we all get that lifesteal gear, but as you try and spread out, you're needing more than just lifesteal gear, right? So, what are your thoughts on adjusting to the gear again?
Yeah, the gear is kind of hard working on your main account, having 6-star gear, and then going back to this, like working on the Affinity, having 3-star gear being your best gear that you're gonna have on your main character.
Right.
But yeah, you just need to focus on the primaries there, and once you get to Brutal, that's where it starts the grind, really. That's where you're gonna get your gear, so you can progress through the dungeons.
Oh, mate. I'm about to put a spirit guy in the faction wars. But yeah, so the gear is a massive change. I mean, J Gigs, any kind of thoughts on the gear process as well? Like, can you just like, you know, are you really anticipating getting to Brutal and getting some 5-star gear again, or are you just wanting to get to Dragon to get that 5-star gear again, like Kizzle?
Well, I'll guess I'll feel it out as far as how I'm going to farm it, but it's not as unfamiliar territory for me because I've done a lot of like new accounts, and I had the free to play account series on the channel for a while, way back, and I used to do this a lot in Summoner's War, so I'm pretty comfortable in the early game using the crappy little gear we're going to be getting for a little bit, so I'm feeling all right about it.
And Kizzle, how was that jump back down from Cloud 9 back to where we're starting with this gear, huh?
Honestly, I feel like I'm at a little bit of an advantage there because, you know, I haven't been playing as much as these guys have.
Right.
I've also never done this. I've never done like a big jump back, you know? So it's not, it's slightly fun for me to do the big jump back. Because I haven't, you know, I was always in-game focused. So like I never really worried about beginner's guides and, you know, what to do when you first restart the game or start the game. So it's all, for me, it's a kind of like a refresher. It's new theory craft almost because I haven't done this in over a year.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of just looking at the whole thing with like a fresh set of eyes and pretty motivated to figure it out. And then kind of willing to make some errors in the beginning, but then hopefully I get to, you know, make a video after this is all over said and done and kind of show folks where to not make those same errors.
Nice, man. Yeah, I'm kind of like on the same lines. Like, yeah, I'm not 100% where I'm meant to be going just yet. What we're going to do, I'm still just trying to figure out. I'm still hoping for some luck in shards, which we know isn't going to happen. So I've just 6-starred my apothecary as well, and gear is hopefully going to become a little bit thicker and faster. Gallic has that lifesteal gear on at the moment. I would love to probably put it on an executioner or something maybe for the end game campaign. Help me out. So maybe an executioner with lifesteal and apothecary could really help me out. But yeah, so Faction Wars is going to come into the game a little bit later. I mean, I've been trying to kind of spend my keys in Faction Wars anyway, and God, it is so thin. Like the options are just so little. Have any of you guys even thought about Faction Wars yet? Like for endgame, we're going to open up shards in the next 3 weeks anyway. Like as we just played a game, but I mean, Faction Wars is looking very tough at the moment, though, right, guys?
I mean, yeah, the worst thing is to have more than one champion for your affinity for Faction Wars is pretty unlikely. Like I looked at it myself. I've done a couple of level 1s and 2s with one person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think when I was thinking about Faction Wars, I hadn't really considered that. I mean, the chances of you having even 2 champions of the same faction that you're working on, is probably 0. So yeah, I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. I think that's going to be one that I think someone's going to win with a very small amount of stars.
Yeah, it's going to be tough. So what's the total stars? There's that's going to be a really low total. But I think that could make it even for everyone. Like every star is going to matter, no matter how you get it. So let's say, for example, all your prime gear is on your Bellower. If you have a character in a different faction on his own, you're probably going to be swapping that gear and put it on him, right? Just to try and get those stars. So that could cost a silver going forward, right?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Anyone else thought about Faction Wars yet? Jake Giggs, you were about to say something?
No, I was just saying it's going to be an interesting thing to take on under these circumstances. It's to get certain factions in one affinity. It might be pretty difficult to actually put a team together.
It might just be down to the gear that you acquire over the time that we played, right, rather than the actual character themselves. I mean, I probably won't be booking some of these characters that we're using, so it's probably just going to be down to what gear we have, really. Cold Brew, thought about Faction Wars much?
Yeah, Faction Wars is just going to be a place you need to farm, really, just stage 1.
Yeah.
Even if you can't do higher, just do stage 1. You're going to get 12 glyphs there, and it's like 12 upgrades. 1% defense, it's huge. Even for these accounts, it's huge. So you kind of need to do it if you want to win, basically.
God, yeah, those glyphs are really going to start adding up. It was one of the first things I did as well, just to start getting those keys done, because I knew I'd just be farming campaigns so much, so I just wanted to get those keys done. But Kizzle, I mean, you haven't really had the biggest experience with Faction Wars yet. You're probably having an introduction and probably the best time. Obviously, you played it when it came out and you know what it is, but we've had several rebalances of Faction Wars, and I think it's vastly agreed that it's probably in its best state to date. But yeah, have you thought about Faction Wars so far at all?
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite familiar with it. I know it's been nerfed a good bit. I farm, stage 21 on 4 different factions on my main right now. So it's, I don't think it's in a good state necessarily. I think if you go back on my videos, I probably have more videos complaining about Faction Wars than most content creators do. I've just hated it since the second it came out. But with that, I honestly, I think Cold Brew probably nailed it. I think stage 1, pushing it, I think is probably a total waste of time.
Yep.
And honestly, since I haven't read the rules, I don't know for sure if we're judged on Faction Wars. If we eventually are, then maybe it's a good strategy to not do it and try to get your points in the other areas. But yeah, you have to think Faction Wars is already thinning in the sense that it's thinning the faction, but to thin out the affinity and the faction, I mean, it's. Yeah, and it's an area of the game where you really have to, it's an area for the game that's meant for the end game, which we're probably not going to make it to an end game level with these accounts. So I would say you're almost better off just leaving it be, unless you have like a raid boss, style champion, unless you have like a Bellower that can go through and just clean up in a, in a set of lifesteal gear. I'd probably leave it alone.
If only.
Yeah, you shouldn't work on it, man. Yeah.
No, I'm not going to work on it. Definitely not.
Yeah, I agree.
I've just been doing a little bit of Faction Wars now as we've kind of been talking about it, and I literally accidentally, as we was talking, I put in a 1-star or a 2-star Spirit Champion into the Faction Wars team, right? And I've been called a cheater already, but obviously he was gaining experience and he had no gear on. Is that technically allowed or not? I took him straight out again. I'm just wondering what's the black and white there? Hades.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I deliberately haven't put anyone in that's not the right affinity for Faction Wars. Feels like cheating to me, Saf.
Well, oh jeez. It was just for the one battle, I think. I did
if you want a blunt answer, feels like cheating, yeah.
Well, my food is getting leveled, honestly. But yeah, I took it back out again. But yeah, what is food though, right? What is food? I'll wait.
Getting philosophical on you.
Yeah, philosophical. Food is like champions you want to level up, right? I mean, whether you do that in the campaign or not. But anyway, I took it back out. I'm not cheating. I'm just saying. Anyway.
I feel like J Gigs gets a free cheat of his choice right now, man. I mean, J Gigs, what? Maybe you can level up. Do you have like a really good affinity champion that's not magic that you get to bring into the mix?
I think
now?
I should get to use my Queen Eva.
Oh,
there you go.
Gosh.
There you go, man. That's balance.
Is that a trade?
God. Okay, you can really tell whose team you're on, Kizzle. I'm telling you, there's no down the middle with you, is there? Although you was on the fence yesterday during the stream, but yeah, none of that today.
Well, I think yesterday I hadn't figured out which team I was on yet, but it's been made clear to me now.
That makes sense. I feel like me and Cold Brew, like we need the Stu here. So Stu's like literally opening up a whole load of void shards right now. We're supposed to get like a 3v3, but yeah, me and Cold Brew kind of getting numbered out here, but we'll sort that out for next week. Don't you worry. Okay, does anyone kind of want to sort of say everything up? We've basically gone over the topics that I kind of wanted to talk about. Does anyone else want to sort of add anything or any kind of questions? If any of you guys in chat have any questions with any of us about the Affinity Cup, about our champions, or anything at all, throw them in the chat. We'll see if we can get a couple of those answered for you. But anyone else here in the channel want to kind of bring anything up or ask anything or chat any questions?
Yeah, can we change our pictures on the website?
So that was in the process of being done. However, it was going to be our YouTube pictures, right? But there was an issue with that, so we had to kind of revert back. So, yeah, you just...
yeah. I saw that, and I was like, I wonder who made this site and why they don't like Cold Brew. Like, they got one with his eyes closed. Like,
literally, I've got like 140 videos. He picked a picture that I had my eyes closed. Like, out of 140 videos, 10 minutes each, so many frames to select from. He picked the one that I had my eyes closed.
Someone made a point that all of Team Spider's pictures are not so great and Team Dragon's are not bad. So it's like we know who commissioned the site.
I don't know who's responsible for that, but if I find out, I will,
Oh, mate. But yeah, he did try and change it. He did try and change it to my YouTube videos, but there was an issue with something, so he had to revert back to the previous save. But yeah, he's going to try and change that and sort out Cold Brew, so don't you worry, mate. And there's been there was a question in my chat earlier on, and I couldn't quite sort of help them out with it. It was with Basilius Rowanus. He is a Force legendary in the High Elves. He has a skill set which is quite interesting. It has an 8% chance of stealing one random buff from the target, which is fine. His A2 is attack 1/3 enemies, ignores shield and block damage buffs, as well as 50% on the target's defense, which again is fine. But it's the A3 where there was a lot of questions, right? Attacks all enemies, has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff for 1 turn, okay? And then decreases each target's turn meter by 50% if the stun debuff does not place. So does that mean if you have low accuracy, you could go for the turn meter reduction instead of the stun, or do you need accuracy for both? Like, how did that work? Any ideas?
I'm pretty certain both activate of accuracy.
So that was what came up, but I wasn't 100% sure that both. So you can't play for one or the other. It's either 50% or something. You either get stun or you're going to get turn meter. You can't play for the turn meter reduction, no?
No, basically it's based on the RNG is you want the stun, but if you don't get the stun, you still get something cool.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I've played with it. I don't have him, but I've used him on takeovers before. He's actually really cool. He's a very good champ. Much better than I thought he was when I first saw him.
Nice. Yeah, I wasn't 100% sure on that either, so that got brought up. Is there any questions in your chats, guys? Are we all good?
Good.
Perfect. Okay, we're gonna. Stu was supposed to be here, but he's doing his void shards. So we're on an hour and a half at the moment, so that's fine. I think we should leave this here, like 90-minute episode for the Affinity Cup special. I think we've pretty much gone through like the first 24 hours, like pretty with a fine tooth comb, pretty much. It's been great to have each and every one on here. Cold Brew, where can people catch you at, man? Thanks for being on this week.
Thanks, man, for having me almost every single week. Of course, people can catch me on Twitch right now. I'm going to be live in the next hour or so, I believe, and just grinding through the Affinity. Well, I'm actually going to open up all my voids first on my main account and then grind on my Affinity as well.
Yep.
And yeah, people can also catch me on YouTube, just Cold Brew Gaming there. And yeah, search for the Army Gears video.
Awesome.
So that's it.
I've been told there's a compromised picture been DM'd to you on Discord, so there we go. I hope it's better than what it is at the moment. Hell Hades, thanks for being on again this week, man, and thanks again for setting this all up and getting us all on here. Where can people catch you up, man, and when are you live next?
Yeah, thanks, mate. No, been really good again. So I, as always, I'm throwing videos out every day, but I will be live on Twitch my evening, so about 3.5 hours time.
Yep.
And yeah, but probably I normally do 5 nights a week, but I'm thinking about throwing in a couple of extras, a couple of juicy bonus ones for this Affinity Cup. So I feel like I'm all the time.
I think it's needed, man. I think Chosen is going to kick into overdrive, and I think it's going to be needed. But it's going to be cool. Yeah, thanks a lot for being here, man. It's great to have you. And Jay Giggs, mate, where can people catch you up, and where can people sort of like see you live? When are you live next, man? And thanks for being here.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me. I'm on YouTube almost every day uploading something, and I'm working on a new stream schedule that I can not drive myself crazy with, so that's TBD, but daily on YouTube most of the time.
Nice, man. So go check out Jay Giggs on the YouTube, go and hit the subscribe button, and Kizzle, mate, first time as well, thanks for ever so much for jumping on. When are you live next, man?
I'm probably going to go live in about an hour, maybe hour and a half. And so my Twitch is twitch.com, /Kizzle_INC. Mm-hmm. And my YouTube, I need to work on my YouTube IRL. Recently went to a brand account, so that's kind of been a pain because it referred back to an old URL. But I'll give you the link. But YouTube right now, I'm splitting my content down the middle. I'm going to be doing Affinity Cup updates, of course.
Yeah,
that's going to be the only content I do on Raid for a bit, and then Epic 7 on YouTube as well. And then I'm streaming pretty much every day right now for the Affinity Cup.
Nice.
And I'm going to be putting out a more consistent stream schedule on Twitch sometime today. But for the time being, probably 5 nights a week, and I'll probably be throwing a little E7 in there. But right now, it's going to be pretty much Affinity Cup. I'm not going to be doing anything on the main Raid account while we're doing this.
Nice, man. Well, it's great to have you back in amongst the Raid community, buddy, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where you end up after 3 weeks of grinding, man. It's going to be really interesting to see where we all end up. It's going to be pretty cool. So I've been the Safran Man. This has been like Shadow Legends Assemble Affinity Cup Special Edition. All links to everyone that's taken part. I'll put all links to everyone participating in the Affinity Cup. I'll put them in the bottom of this description on YouTube. So make sure you go and to all their channels, hit the follows, hit the subscribes. And yeah, any questions, you get those in the comments, right? We've done really well on YouTube as well lately with the Affinity Cup and everything. We are nearly at 1,000 subscribers, so we're nearly at that point of monetization. So if you are enjoying this podcast and the Affinity Cup videos that we're doing, make sure you go ahead and hit the subscribe as well. And just thanks for all the support, right? We've been doing really well on Twitch. I'm sure everyone's been really enjoying themselves on Twitch as well. So make sure you go to that link that I've put in the channel, the multi-Twitch and the raidfocus.com. Thanks again to Fixion and Never to getting that setting up for us. I myself will probably be live again in about an hour as well. So there's probably going to be a few of us live later on this evening. But yeah, thanks for everyone that's joining in on Hell Hades channel, Cold Brew's channel, Jay Giggs, Kizzle. Thanks for everyone for tuning in. It's great to see you all here. And we'll catch you all next week, right? With more Affinity Cup news and reviews. That'll be pretty cool. Yeah, thanks for everything, guys, and we'll catch you all next week.
Yeah, brilliant.
Thanks,
cheers, buddy. Catch you
Yes,
later.
guys.